Thank you very much for joining us for the main news on Camnet TV. Today, Sunday, the 24th of December, 2023. The headlines. President HICHILEMA pardons 588 inmates. Hunger looms in CHAMA district of the Eastern Province. Government urged to cancel the recruitment of health workers due to illegalities in the process. And in international news, Israel vows to continue with military operation in Gaza. And in sports news, PATSON DAKA continues with his scoring form as LAMECK BANDA sees red. For details of these and other stories, join us shortly after this break.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point of sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Marketeers at Lusaka's Chilenge Market have expressed happiness at the paving of the road that leads into the market. One of the marketeer, Annie Katube, says the paving of the road will promote accessibility to the market, especially during the rainy season. Meanwhile, Chilenge Ward 3 Councillor Ruben Mwenya says the paving of the road is key to unlocking business at Chilenge Market. Here's a report.
A good road leading into a market plays a crucial role in contributing to good business flow for marketeers. It ensures an easy and quicker way to sell and access products and services. The paving of the road that leads into Chilenge Market, which was in a deplorable state for some time and made it difficult for businesses in and around the market, especially during the rain season, that is no longer the story. Through the help of Constituency Development Fund, CDF, the paving of the road has started and the development has excited traders in Chilenge Market. Lydia, a trader, says the paving has come at the right time as they face challenges with the road during the rainy season. Another trader tells this journalist that the paving of the road will attract business to her stand as she is located just outside Chilenge Market. Says the paving of roads will stretch out to most roads along Chilumburu Road so as to improve the road network in the area.
CDF, as you are aware, there's an increase in the CDF allocation, and it is from that we are going to still see further such developments. So after we do this one, we've got another one where we are going to do a few selected roads that we are still going to pave within the community. I want to announce that I'm very proud to see that what we assured the people is coming to pass, and at the end of our term, at least people now can judge us on whether we've delivered or not. But I want to assure the people that the best is yet to come.
Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
President Hakainde Hichilema has pardoned 588 convicted inmates as a gesture of goodwill to inmates incarcerated in various correctional centers across the country. Among the 588 pardoned inmates, 573 are ordinary inmates, 11 are old-aged, 1 is a female with a circumstantial child, 1 is a lifer commuted to 35 years, and 2 inmates on death row commuted to life. During the year 2023, a cumulative total of 2,940 inmates have been pardoned by the President. The Road Transport and Safety Agency, RATSA, intends to introduce more technological tools that will help manage traffic on the Zambian roads to complement the speed cameras. RATSA Head of Public Relations, Mukela says the agency has procured automated mobile cameras that automatically send speed ticket messages to motorists. Mr. Mangolwa says the continued road traffic accidents are due to overspeeding, hence the need for interventions to curb the vice. Here's a report.
Zambia has continued to record road traffic crashes as a result of speed and human error. As of the first quarter of 2023, police recorded 9,888 road traffic accidents countrywide, of which 460 were recorded as fatal, in which 581 people died, and 949 were recorded as serious injury accidents, in which 1,719 people were seriously injured. On the 11th of December 2023, the Road Transport and Safety Agency, RATSA, commenced the enforcement of speed cameras around Lusaka. The agency's head of public relations, Mukela Mangolwa, tells this journalist that the automated camera system that has been procured by RATSA sends automatic speed tickets to motorists and will help traffic officers who cannot be on every stretch of the road to capture overspeeding vehicles and improve the country's accident profile.
Continue to record so many road crashes, road traffic crashes, and a lot of these are as a result of speed. The challenge for law enforcement officers is that we cannot be on every stretch of the road, in the country. So we have to leverage technology, and that's why we came up with the idea of having cameras. And these cameras are not going to just be used to enforce speed. They're also going to be used to enforce other infringements like, road tax, fitness certificates, those who are driving through the red light. So it will help where you don't have enough human resource to be everywhere, who have, technology working for this. You would want to know that we tapped into the Safe City camera network, which are the cameras you see now installed on most of the roads in Lusaka, Livingston, and parts of the Copper Belt. But we have also procured cameras which will be mobile. These are automated cameras that captures the speed and automatically sends a message to your phone, with a speed ticket.
Mr. Mangolwa adds that as of 11th December, about 590 motorists were captured for speeding, and the agency will provide another report of the efficiency of the cameras in 4 weeks.
The first day when we rolled out this on 11th December, 590 motorists were captured So we are yet to do another assessment, maybe after 4 weeks, so that we see whether there's going to be an increase or whether the numbers or the statistics will come down, and that will help us, have an understanding or an evaluation of whether this is going to help regulate speed.
Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambia Land Alliance has challenged the government to come up with a permanent land tribunal judges to speed up land dispute in the country. Organization Executive Director Patrick Musole says the current system of having part-time judges sitting for the land tribunal has not helped in ensuring the quick dispensation of justice. Mr. Musole has also called for the implementation of the land policy of 2021 to ensure land is protected for the locals. Here's a report.
Land conflicts are now common grounds in Zambia that have currently taken the country by storm, with a general feeling that the mushrooming of real estate agents has led to them taking advantage of unsuspecting citizens in the country. Other reasons for land disputes arise from overlapping land rights and clear land tenure systems, rapid urbanization, commercial land development, and disagreements over land boundaries. Amidst Zambia's natural beauty, the struggle for land is a thorn in the flesh of many, as the country is regarded to have a high frequency of land conflicts in Africa. While land conflicts escalate, the Zambia Land Alliance has proposed the need to revisit the number of judges sitting on the Lands Tribunal and make them permanent in order to see a shift in how issues of land disputes are being resolved.
Because I think the idea of part-time judges has not worked, and then the fact that they have held court sessions at up to provincial centers hasn't also worked, because access is still limited. There are lots of land cases going on in the districts, and if you're going to leave the lands tribunals to go only up to provincial centers, it is not accessible to the majority of the people. So we think that we need to have permanent staff on board. We also need to have it, if they want to continue with the model of a roving court that goes around sitting in different provinces, I think we need to have it regularly done, but maybe to go as low as district level.
Mr. Musole explains that while the number of land conflicts is increasing, the Zambian government should ensure the country's national land policy, which was adopted in 2021, is implemented in full course. He believes doing so will help in securing land for future use.
We need to implement the land policy that we have, the national land policy that was adopted in 2021, has some provisions which we need now to legislate into law to ensure that land for foreign investors is regulated, one, in two ways, by ensuring that we don't give huge or abnormally huge tracts of land to foreigners. We need to give them only what they need for their investment. Secondly, we also need to ensure that the lease duration for foreigners is reduced. We cannot give a foreigner 99 years lease and for investment. What kind of investment is that?
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
A concerned citizen has called on government to cancel the recruitment of 3,000 health workers, citing illegality in the recruitment process. Addressing the media Sunday, Mukeleba Ilikezo questions the criteria used in the recruitment process, alleging that the country has no standardized procedures for recruiting health workers. Mr. Ilikezo says to realize an effective and efficient health sector in Zambia, there is need for a framework and methodology for the healthcare industry. Here's a report.
On the 19th of December 2023, the Civil Service Commission announced the successful candidates for the 2023 recruitment of health workers by the Ministry of Health, much to the excitement of many stakeholders. A concerned citizen of Zambia, Mukeleba Ilikezo, has challenged the government over the recruitment process and asked the Civil Service Commission to state the procedure and criteria used in this year's recruitment. Speaking at a press briefing Sunday, Mr. Likezo says that Zambia has no standards and effective procedures for youth recruitment processes and questions the transparency of the recruitment process, further describing it as an illegal undertaking. He states that the lack of standardization of health practitioners has made a lucid attempt to destroy the health system in the country.
Go name by name. All the applications must be examined. That is the only way you are going to guarantee this fairness and equity. Because you need to get the best, and when you begin to scrutinize, you come to a point where you shortlist. And when you shortlist, it means that these are the most qualified, and there are many factors that you must consider when you are looking into those issues. And when you pick those and you have to interact with them so that you are sure that these people that are applied, they are not animals, they are human beings. And
He has also challenged the logic behind unemployed health workers paying for their practicing licenses to the Health Practitioners Council of Zambia as illegal, and other health councils stating that only those in employment must pay for those licenses.
Illegal payment of practicing license to HPCZ and other health councils. You may be aware that it's a requirement that every health profession must be registered and they must hold a practicing license. Now, you must know that a practicing license is only needed when you are in an employment, because what you have as a knowledge was given to you, was accredited to you by an institution that educated you, those people that gave you your credentials that you are using. Now, when you go to get your certificate as a practicing license, you only need to pay for that when you are in employment. But what is obtaining in Zambia right now is that those that are not employed, they are paying practicing license. And why they are paying practicing license, we don't know. And we want that to stop because it's illegal and it's immoral.
Mr. Likezo has since called on the Civil Service Commission and the ministry to publish the list of all promoted health workers from this recruitment.
The Ministry of Health and the Civil Service must produce a list of those promoted. They say they promoted. Now we want to see the list and the letters of those people that were promoted. Of course, what we want.
All successful health workers are to report for duty by Tuesday, 26th December 2023. Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
A lawmaker has called on government to increase the allocation of relief food in CHAMA district of the Eastern Province amidst a looming hunger crisis. CHAMA South Member of Parliament Davison Mungandu discloses to Camnet TV News that due to low rainfall being recorded in the area, there is a food insecurity. Here's a report.
In Zambia, farming inputs are like the magic that turn unfertile land into a land of plenty. They do not only support the country's food security, but boost economic growth for both farmers and the country. However, 95% of crop production in Zambia is rain-fed, making small-scale farmers vulnerable to the impacts of climate change and seasonal variability. In October this year, the Zambia Meteorological Department predicted that the country would experience normal to below normal rainfall in the 2023-2024 rainy season due to an El Niño. Among the parts affected by this situation is the Eastern Province. As such, CHAMA South Member of Parliament Davison Mungandu has appealed to government to increase relief food in Eastern Province to cushion the looming hunger situation. Mr. Mungandu tells this journalist that despite the government's approval of about 5,000 by 50 kg bags of maize for relief food between CHAMA North and CHAMA South, the effort is not enough.
Those are completely gone. People are swelling. This is the situation. Making matters worse, a few businessmen who could access maize or milling from Rondazi for resale in the valley, we are told that ZNS is now impounding millimil that is being moved from Chipata to Rundazi. So soon you also hear the crisis in Rundazi and other areas. So I'll be appealing to government that they should increase the allocation. CHAMA South alone probably will need about 20,000 by 50 kg bags of maize. 2,500 will just cover maybe one ward. So we'll be appealing for more help. And not only that, let them also, in CHAMA North, open the depot for community sales.
The lawmaker says currently farmers are facing difficulties in practicing their agricultural activities due to the historic human-animal conflict. Mr. Mungando has since called for a holistic approach towards handling the issue of human-animal conflict in the area.
So we are appealing to our government that please, before we start losing lives, give us enough relief food. It's not that we are lazy people. Let's find a permanent solution on human-animal conflict. A lot of our people lose their crop to these wild animals, particularly elephants.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News.
The Zambia Institute for Policy Analysis and Research says the mining remains vital to Zambia's full economic recovery. Institute Senior Research Fellow Zali Chikuba has told Camnet News that a lot of people, supply and contractors depend on the viability of the mining sector, hence the need to get the sector running. Speaking with Camnet News, Mr. Chikuba says once Mopani and Kokola copper mines start operating at optimal level, the country will be on course to achieving a target of increasing copper production to 3 million metric tons by the year 2030. He says the expansion of other existing mines is equally crucial for increasing mining output. Mr. Chikuba stressed that stable and predictable policies are key to steering mining sector growth. He also underscored the mining firms in the country to also be paying their fair share of taxes as opposed to just amplifying the component of a corporate social responsibility.
And other supply enterprises that supply to the mines. There are so many. So we do hope that they are going to take off from the ground, and then once they take off from the ground, the output of mining is likely to drastically increase at that. But we know that we still need a lot more. The government has set itself a target of 3 million metric tons of copper by 2030. I mean, copper doesn't come alone. It simply means that cobalt production will also have to in parallel increase. So that's a huge target. So it means that we need to do more exploration, expansion of other existing mines, and that demands a stable and fair mining fiscal regime. A predictable environment where when the investors, whether Zambian or foreign, puts their stake, their money in there, they know that they can project fair returns, and rather than the flip-flop in terms of policy positions that we have witnessed. My executive director at ZIPA described the mining sector as a disaster at one point. It's because of this same flip-flop kind of approach to mining policy that we have engaged in for quite a long while, and also the issue that the mines have not been giving a fair share of their money to the treasury. So that too needs to be worked at. When the mines have taken off, they need to be seen to be providing a fair share of contribution to the treasury through taxes. I think they should not amplify the corporate social responsibility above the obligation to pay a fair share of taxes. So for me, the fair share of taxes is quite a critical demand that I would place on the mining sector.
The Community Action Against Corruption, CAAC, has observed that the pronouncement by President Hakainde Hichilema that corruption cases will be concluding within 5 months lacks supporting mechanisms from institutions tasked to help in the fight against corruption. Organization Chief Executive Officer Brighton Tembo wonders how corruption cases can be concluded in 5 months when the Director of Public Prosecution last month alleged that it is difficult to prosecute corruption cases in the courts of law because it happens in secrecy.
Feel the presidential directive to have corruption cases concluded in 5 months. We are doubtful if this directive will find the mechanism support at the institutions that are tasked to fight corruption in the country. We are saying this because of the negative statements that have been coming from the people who have been tasked to head such institutions. Look at the statement made by the Director of Public Prosecution, who only last month was confessing that it is too difficult to prosecute corruption cases in the courts of law because corruption is a secret conduct. Then you look at what happened at the Lusaka Magistrate Court, where the magistrate, Irene Washmanga, was forced to summon the DPP to come and explain the conduct of his prosecutors in the Fred Sonyamba, Joe Malanji case. So at this point, we can advise the state to understand the fact that it is not the people who have been arrested concerning corruption who are delaying the court cases. It is the state, through a systematic way of delaying court cases, who are responsible for that. Then look at the statement which came from the Drug Enforcement Commission Director. It was also a negative statement because he was hinting to the fact that not all corruption cases or not all the cases handled by the enforcement will go to court. To some extent, that was encouraging people to engage in corruption. The Anti-Corruption Commission itself, this is 2 years down the line, they have failed to secure any serious conviction concerning high-profile corruption cases in the country. So we wonder what will change concerning all these statements and examples that we've given, which will make the court cases to be concluded in 5 months. So the president should look at means and ways of changing a lot of things in these institutions, if that is to be actualized. Otherwise, the president and the people tasked to fight corruption, they are not operating at the same wavelength.
On that note, we take our first commercial break. Still ahead, we have more news. Don't go away.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palabana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, 4th close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
I never have this feeling in my heart.
Are you planning to marry or get married? Contact the Camnet Media team for a professional capturing of your big day in life. Let your relatives, friends, and the nation join you in celebrating your big day on television. Just at a manageable fee, Camnet Television will cover and transmit your wedding on your channel of choice. Contact the marketing department on mobile number. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
I give my love to having home. And as far
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Mungu District Agriculture Coordinator Christabel Kakumbi says most farmers are having difficulties managing their produce due to a limited understanding of processing, preservation and storing methods. Speaking after a sensitization training on Saturday, Mungu District Agriculture Coordinator Christabel Kakumbu called on agriculture extension officers to help farmers in the district preserve their harvest to avoid losses. Here's a report.
Ministry of Agriculture with support from World Food Programme organized a 3-day training for camp and block extension officers for Mungu District on post management, food processing, preservation, storage and utilization. Mungu District Agriculture Coordinator Christabel Kakumbi has called on extension officers in Mungu District to advise farmers to use correct spacing, manage pest and secure harvest to avoid farmers recording losses. Ms. Kakumbi says losses to farmers doesn't only occur during harvest, but even before.
We be alive to the fact that losses occur at not just after harvest, but at various stages throughout the production cycle. So we are here to remind the camp extension officers that they need to help the farmers use the correct spacing, manage their pests in order for them to have a good harvest. And ultimately, after that good harvest, we need to find a way to secure that harvest and make sure that losses are minimized as much as possible. So the losses occur throughout the entire production cycle, but the emphasis in this training is basically on the post-harvest losses, so that the camp extension officers are reminded on the need for them to train the farmers so that the entire production cycle goes well. Even after they finish their they finished harvesting, they are able to handle their produce in such a way that it is going to be good enough for the off-taker to buy. In this case, our off-taker is FRA.
Acting Senior Agriculture Officer Rox Mwinde urges farmers to practice climate-smart agriculture for them to have good harvesting.
Training farmers in good agriculture practices and that they should adopt to climate-smart agriculture recommendations which we have advised so that they can have moisture retention and that at the end of the day they'll be able to harvest from their fields. And we are encouraging most of the farmers to start acquiring small irrigation equipment to supplement the rains when we are experiencing dry spells.
Meanwhile, Jesti Rungu is one of the participants who had this to say.
This training is very important for both us and farmers because we are going to learn and we are going to teach the farmers on how they are supposed to preserve their foods and store for future use. You may find that farmers mostly they do produce enough, but because of the way they keep their food, they end up losing. So this training, it's very important that the farmers will come with.
With some predicted rains, it is important to advise farmers on good practices and how to preserve and store their produce. For Camnet News, Musiaba Kabila, Mungu, Western Province.
Now, in a bid to empower local communities and stimulate economic growth, the government of the Republic of Zambia has continued to allocate empowerment funds through the Constituency Development Fund CDF grants component. Monze Central Constituency Member of Parliament, Jack Mwimbu, on Saturday disbursed a substantial sum of 1,074,960 to 72 successful applicants of the 2023 Constituency Development Fund Empowerment Grant. Mr. Mwimbu, who is also Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, was accompanied by Monze District Commissioner Mwanza Malambo, Council Chairperson Powell Mutenguna, and other councillors representing Monze Central Constituency at the official handover which took place at Monze Civic Centre. Addressing the recipients, Mr. Mwimbu emphasized the importance of using the funds for their intended purpose and urged them to spread the positive message of President Hakainde's administration. He cautioned against misuse of funds. Speaking at the event, Monze District Commissioner Mwanza Malambo highlighted the unique opportunity the beneficiaries had been granted, expressing his gratitude on behalf of the government.
Tupamali 1,074,960. 1,074,960 kwacha. Abu paliyo. Mwawezawa ngeno. Ata mumi musabo. Imusabo kuligo. Ngokubamba bumi kwenu. Mwawusowa musabo. Mwayaga kuje nobeni.
Babo tiba iguntu pe ba igube bagambo abupa lukono olwamire kupe. Please ndalomba abantu bose aumwe oli pega tulika pegala utino mala ndaga belegera lili ino mala ya elele kuyabu ndamana mupegwa belege muri monsi uno abuswana kuri mutwa swangana abamba uti tube ajo ogeza kugeza imaya ngori tutaruba imawekazi iba kanso ya Monze district abana murumende bonse amurumende birumba yaroye yagaleta musezo uwatagaligo iwamba uti sewo gatupegwa mali awo tujiche imaomeso.
We take another set of commercials. We have international and sport news coming up. Don't go away.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel. Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days in forgotten stories. We emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back, and now in international news, the Israeli military has vowed to continue with operation in Gaza, but admitted that it is protracted and difficult. A spokesman said over the weekend it was expanding its ground operations in the southern and northern Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, the U.S. President said Joe Biden spoke to the Israeli Prime Minister and emphasized the critical need to protect civilians. In response, Benjamin Netanyahu said the war would go on until all Israeli goals are achieved. President Biden also told reporters that he had not asked Mr. Netanyahu for a ceasefire. On Friday, the UN Security Council approved the resolution demanding a large-scale aid delivery to Gaza, but stopped short of calling for a ceasefire between the two warring sides. Here now is a roundup of international news.
President Biden told the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that as Israel continues its military campaign in Gaza, there's a critical need to protect the civilian population, including those supporting aid operations. But Mr. Biden said that he did not ask the Israeli leader for a ceasefire.
I had a long talk with Netanyahu today, and it's a private conversation.
Meanwhile, in Gaza, this is the new normal. Drone strikes in the border town of Rafah, emptying the local market. 17-year-old Joe filming on his phone, still clutching his bag of shopping and calling on God for protection. Israel launched its retaliatory operation after Hamas fighters crossed from Gaza into southern Israel on the 7th of October, killing 1,200 people and taking about 240 hostages. Since then, more than 20,000 people have been killed and 53,000 injured in Gaza, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Its update this weekend says another 201 people had been killed. These Gazans are the latest casualties, rushing to Khan Yunis hospital following an Israeli airstrike. Israel says it has arrested 200 members of the Hamas and Islamic Jihad groups in the past week and has taken them into its territory for questioning. Israel's bombardment and ground assault has displaced some 1.9 million Gazans, according to UN figures, over 3/4 of the population. But it's hunger that cries in Rafah, a city at the southern end of Gaza, as thousands queue for something to eat.
These foods have run out at the market, so we can't find anything to cook for the people. Perhaps today is the last day we can provide food for the people. We appeal to the nation to provide aid to these people so they don't die of hunger.
As the fighting continues, there is now a real risk of famine, according to the UN, as humanitarian aid is only trickling into the besieged coastal territory. Greg McKenzie, BBC News.
It's the time of year when New York's Fifth Avenue is normally bustling with Christmas shoppers. But for many here, the war and the ever-increasing death toll in Gaza is front of mind. More than 2 months of Israeli airstrikes and a ground operation have killed over 20,200 people, most of them women and children. The UN says people in Gaza also face starvation, disease and an uncertain future. Research shows those issues are strongly influencing how Americans feel about the war and the Biden administration's ongoing support for Israel. It's not just Americans questioning this relationship.
Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide!
The Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project has found almost 90% of protesters globally stand in solidarity with Palestinians.
I'm at the demonstration because I can no longer bear what is happening in Palestine. This is the murder of a people. This is genocide.
Analysts say the governments of Australia, Canada and New Zealand are bending to public pressure, and Europe is also starting to. But they say Washington is key to any change to the course of the war.
Israel's immunity to political pressure is a function of its support from the United States. The Biden administration continues to support Israel. There has been some veiled criticism of Israel's actions in Gaza by the administration, but it still finances Israel, a multi-billion-dollar support package to Israel, plus munitions.
Israeli sentiment could also influence the war plan.
Israel can weather the storm internationally, but I think also there are those domestic protests against Netanyahu's government that may place increased pressure on his government to actually do something positive towards getting a ceasefire with Hamas.
It appears unlikely that will happen soon, with the Israeli Prime Minister vowing to continue fighting until Hamas is no more. Christina Harrison, Al Jazeera.
President Biden failed to get his request for more money for Ukraine passed by Congress before it adjourned until next year. The White House had thought it was being strategic in bundling funding for an increasingly unpopular war in Ukraine with money for Israel, Taiwan, and border security. But it was the Republicans who sensed a strategic opening. Realizing how important funding for Kyiv is to the president, congressional Republicans have held firm with remarkable unity. There will be no additional funding for Ukraine without tough new immigration policy. From those who say enough unconditional money has been spent on a failed military operation in Ukraine,
the Biden administration seems to be asking for is billions of additional dollars with no appropriate oversight, no clear strategy to win.
To hawks who argue the goal isn't necessarily a victory for Ukraine, but to stand up for what they call democracy and bleed Russia dry in the process.
We're not losing track of that. It's just that border security applies to us as well.
It didn't even seem to matter that aid to Israel was also being jeopardized, although the Biden administration has already demonstrated it will bypass Congress to get Israel whatever it says it needs anyway. The Republican strategy worked. The White House now says that in return for the money for Ukraine, it is open to increasing immigrant deportations and reducing their ability to claim asylum. This has infuriated some in the Democratic Party.
What is on the table are policies so extreme that if enacted, it would literally be the most exclusionary, restrictive immigration legislation since the racial quota laws of the 1920s.
But the White House goes into the election year betting that however rightward the administration pivots, in the end the base will rally around Joe Biden due to their fear of Donald Trump.
The base is going to have to decide ultimately in 2024. They're going to have a choice between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And the question is, whom are they going to be able to support? And there are going to be some things that President Biden did that they really like a lot, and there are going to be some things that they like less.
In the end, there wasn't enough time for a deal on border restrictions. So Joe Biden ends the year having enraged the Democratic Party base even further with his capitulation to the right wing on immigration and having failed to secure any more funding for a war in Ukraine with which he has so closely aligned himself. Shia Bertansi, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Welcome back, and now in sports news, Chipolopolo striker PATSON DAKA netted a brace for Leicester City's side that thrashed bottom-placed Rotherham United by 3-0 in the English Football League Championship encounter played at the King Power Stadium. Having started the last 4 matches for Leicester, DAKA has now scored 4 goals in 4 matches. And in Italy, Chipolopolo winger LAMECK BANDA was sent off as US Lecce lost 2-0 away to treble toppers Inter Milan in the Italian Serie A encounter played at the iconic San Siro Stadium. BANDA was seen protesting to 31-year-old Italian referee Matteo Masnero, who for a corner kick that had not been awarded to Lecce in the 83rd minute. However, replays showed that the 22-year-old Zambian had possibly used foul and abusive language towards Masnero, which resulted in a straight red card. This was most likely Banda's last game before he joins the Chiporoporo boys camp ahead of the 2023 AFCON to be held in Ivory Coast. Lecce remains 12th on the table with 20 points from 17 matches. To end the news, we now take a look at the stories that made the headlines. President HICHILEMA pardons 588 inmates. Hunger looms in the Eastern Province. Government urged to cancel the recruitment of health workers due to illegalities in the process. In international news, Israel vows to continue with military operation in Gaza. And in sports news, PATSON DAKA continues with his scoring form as LAMECK BANDA sees red. Now, before we go, we now look at the Camnet verse of the day that comes from the book of ZACHARIA chapter 9, verse 9. And it reads, "Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout aloud, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, your king is coming to you. Righteous and having salvation is he, humbled and mounted on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey." That's it. That's all we had for the news. Don't forget to join us for another bulletin. On behalf of the entire news team, have a blessed night.